Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Moohead Radio. We just had a rainstorm pass through here, and I've been futzing around with my computer because they've switched around my StreamYard. They're putting up a beta here for people to try out, so I'm a guinea pig. Joining me is Tony the Calf. Tony wanted to rant about something before the program even begins. Did you finally get laid? What's the story?
I want to send this memo out to Cleveland media, Cleveland fans, especially the ones I follow. The Cavs aren't fucking trading for LeBron James. Let's fucking stop this nonsense. The Cavs are not going to gut their fucking roster for 41-year-old LeBron James and Bronny at $52 million a year. This whole weekend, I'm been celebrating the 4th with the family up at the cabin, doing a little fishing, swimming. I check Twitter, and it's constantly the Cleveland friends I have and fucking Cleveland media. Are the Cavs serious contenders for LeBron's services? No, they're not that fucking stupid. I mean, fuck, knock it off. You don't need LeBron James to be a winning team.
Hey, but
he had his day. He won you a title. Move the fuck on.
Yeah, I get it. And, he will
Thank you. And rant.
They'll raise his jersey, and he will forever be in
the
the
son
lore.
of Akron. He's the greatest basketball player to ever play the game.
Yeah, I mean, but yet, I want to tell you how I would answer your rant, and it's one of the reasons why my podcasts have been like kind of scattered because I choose not to get into all of that woulda, shoulda, coulda bullshit. I try to analyze what's going on, think about it, and then talk intelligently about it. There's nothing that much to talk about. And so these are the times when you're in between football, your baseball team is a hot stove league team. And then you have your basketball team was a big disappointment and let you down against the Indiana Pacers. And that's what you get. And this is the kind of talk that you end up getting. And it's really too fucking bad. I totally agree with you. LeBron James, he was working out at the Cavs facility. Well, LeBron has more friends around here. I can tell you, he was golfing at the Portage Country Club, okay? Which isn't very far from where I live. He was playing with some of his high school guys. And he was playing there. And later on that day, he was at the Cavaliers facility to work out. But that's something that they would graciously provide because he has to have an organized professional place to work out. And I completely understand that. And yes, I also think that he's sending a message to the Lakers because he did this in Cleveland too. And he's a businessman, and he's a successful businessman at that. And the owner of the Cavaliers is a successful businessman. So, there are games being played. So there's that. That's all there is to it.
You aren't trading Darius Garland. You aren't trading Evan Mobley. You aren't trading half your roster for not only LeBron, 41 years old, $52 million. You got to take on Bronny, and him and Donovan Mitchell will not fucking match because LeBron is me. He wants to control the ball, and so does Donovan. So they're just going to be fucking two evils, and it's going to fucking crater the franchise.
Well, I think every franchise is on the verge of being cratered based on the movement in players and the lack of real quality star players that are being introduced in the league. I mean, the fact that LeBron is trying to play games with the Lakers only suggests that playing with Luka is not the greatest thing in the world when he's not on a diet and taking care of himself. The young stars of the game have to be promoted by the NBA, but I got to be honest with you. Where is the hype for the Pacers now? Because they were the hot team in the East But with Halliburton gone because of,
for the year, good night.
And you never know what's going to come back after a torn Achilles either. If he loses half a step, he's not Tyrese Halliburton anymore. Right?
No.
They got rid of Miles Turner, who was a real important cog in that team. So they made their great run, and their starting lineup is 40% disassembled.
Yep.
And it will be next year as well, next season. So when things move this quickly, it's really very difficult to get a handle on how you build a team when you're losing more than you're gaining. And injuries are part of it. And part of it is the second apron. And some of it is just like the trade I'm looking at on my screen right here. That Powell went to the Heat. Collins went to the Clippers in a 3-team trade. Isn't it funny that the headline names the Heat and the Clippers, but doesn't name the third team?
Right, because it's the Jazz, and they got...
It's a fucking Utah Jizz. That's what it is.
They get the salary dump. They get fucking Kevin Love's old decrepit ass and fucking...
Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, slow-mo.
Yeah. I mean, how long does Utah have to suffer? How long do they even deserve, with the product that they're putting out on the floor, an NBA franchise? Are out in the middle of Salt Lake City, Provo, Utah, with a bunch of Mormons. And how long, I'm sorry, Sam Merrill, I shouldn't make fun of that, but you didn't stay there, did you, buddy? The bottom line is that the Utah Jazz are an afterthought, like so many other teams. You can see where the players who are holding on to their careers end up going to the Sacramento Kings, or they end up going to the Utah Jazz just for that extra year of playing. And only the bigger teams and better teams are even trying to get better.
Yep.
Now, we're fortunate because we already have a good team. But, man, if you're trying to build a good team today, good luck to you. It's not as easy as it used to be. The help doesn't come from the draft like it used to come. One thing I want to mention is that we're doing something different from now moving ahead. Rather than me, posting the studio location and link in the description of the show, I'm not only doing that, but it's permanent. In other words, that link will always be the same. I really want to try to uncomplicate this as much as possible so that we can get some new voices periodically on the podcast, because it isn't going to come from me paying Elon Musk and his Twitter people. I still won't call it by its other name.
Well, I would hope it wouldn't make you come. That'd be ew.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm not gonna pay him for my name. He can go fuck himself. So, yeah, I just want to try to make this easier, if at all possible, for people on their phones or whatever they have to get on the air, and they can put up their point of view. Even if we get X number of people who are just trying to spam us or whatever. We're just, I've always hated that when they're I'm looking at my phone and I see, and I always forget what they call, it's like a gathering of people and the moderator can control who is just watching and who is actually fucking the prostitute. You know what I mean? It's like there's a bunch of spectators, and then there are people who are allowed to talk. Now, I would like to think that anybody is allowed to talk on this program. Anybody. So we're trying to make it easier. So it's hard for me to understand how you can take the NBA really seriously. You should feel good, Cleveland, not be worrying about LeBron James you should be feeling good that you at least have one of the better teams in the NBA, and they're young enough that you can keep them for a little while, because after that, you might as well go watch games in Utah. It's just going to be a very, very difficult time for mid-sized markets, and the Indiana Pacers are finding out the hard way.
And you're the presumed favorites in the East right now because Boston's not going to have Jason Tatum until fucking at least the playoffs. Halliburton's out. The Bucks, they don't have Lillard anymore, and Giannis and Miles Turner ain't gonna fucking be anything. The East is wide open, and the Cavs, if they can get past the Knicks, in my opinion, they're the best team in the fucking East. So just enjoy the ride while you got it.
Yeah, and here's a good way of looking at this. If you're, stuck talking about things that are never going to happen, how about the things that do happen? I spent my time, reading about, Proctor, the guy we drafted with the 49th pick, and, comes out of Duke. And I'm not going to tell you that this guy is the next greatest thing in the world.
But he's a good three-point shooter. He can shoot the three very well.
Well, he did by the time his junior year came around, but he really did not in his first 2 years.
Yeah.
And he still needs work on the form of his shot and how quickly he gets it out of his hands. I mean, he should watch Sam Merrill, except his shot needs to go in. No, Sam Merrill gets rid of a basketball faster than my God. He catches it. It's all so fast, and that's what you have to be if you're going to be a catch and shoot guy. It's got to be almost one fluid motion,
right?
I look at what people are saying about how Proctor, projects as an NBA player. I think the Cavaliers got him because he has more size, but he's only 6'4" and 3/4. All right.
Yeah.
But that's barefooted. And he has like a 76 reach. And I think the Cavaliers are interested in him because they're looking for guards who can play defense as well as have the ability to score the basketball. And a lot of this has to do with the Ty Jerome situation. Yep. And, Ty Jerome.
Who the hell did he end up signing with?
Oh, something?
God, I forgot.
Yes, I, off the top of my head, do too, because it was obvious it was coming, and he, somebody put it up in the chat room, for God's sakes.
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, but he took a 3-year, $28 million deal, and he had one good year, and I hope he has many more. I have nothing against Ty Jerome.
Oh, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, the Grizz, who love to play up and down basketball. I don't know how he backs up Ja Morant. I'm not exactly sure. That, again, the thing that made the Pacers so damn good, and people don't talk about it, is that the people that they had on their bench, maybe with the exception of TJ McConnell, who is kind of his own kind of animal, but long-limbed, could shoot threes, could spread the floor, and play defense and use that length to disrupt and put full court pressure on teams and get points from that. That was, and the Cavaliers got caught in that. Like, it was like a spider web for them. And Ty Jerome was exposed. He's not a primary ball handler, Ty Jerome. He's a good passer. All right. But he's not quick of foot. And he got burned in the full court pressure of the Indiana Pacers in the regular season and in the playoffs. And, if the Grizzlies think that he can back up Ja Morant, that's an interesting thing. If they're going to play half-court basketball, he's still got to get the ball up the floor. Here's the problem with Proctor is he's young, of course. He's coming out of Duke, which is a great program. But right now, his shooting ability is the strongest thing about him. He is not physically strong enough right now to put in major minutes in the NBA. And I still think that Darius Garland can say the same thing. Although Darius Garland has a much better skill set as a ball handling guard than Proctor does. He's not a natural point guard. And I would say the same thing for Ty Jerome. But both of these men pass the ball well. And Proctor loves to throw lob passes into his big men, which would be good news for Evan Mobley, who didn't see the ball nearly enough during the course of the season. And again, he's got length, but not speed. And the one thing that weighs against him and why he was the 49th pick in the draft is that he is not going to, I'll use the later reference, the more recent one. He's not going to Linda Ronstadt you. He's not going to Blue Bayou. He does not have the speed, the first step, and he's not strong enough in the paint. Donovan Mitchell's only 6'2", but he's a tank. When Donovan goes into the paint, he can hang, he can go through people, and he has a lot of different closes at the rim. Really very, very good. Proctor is young, and they shouldn't expect, and fans should not expect him to be able to contribute much in that way. He's gotten better each year he was at Duke, and it's a big step up to the NBA. The other guy, quite honestly, is just a stash.
You'll never ever see him.
No, he's a stash. Yeah. But again, when you are a successful team, you don't get rewarded in the draft. And again, that's, I don't know if it's that the NBA doesn't want dynasties anymore, but it seems that way to me. The way this whole thing plays out, I mean, who is going to be the next San Antonio Spurs? Who's going to be the next Golden State Warriors? These are the more recent dynasties. The Boston Celtics from decades ago. Who is going to be the next dynasty? And you saw how fast the worm turned for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yep.
I mean, they're champions, and then all of a sudden, all their guys are getting old.
Uh-huh.
And now Giannis is the only guy left, and Middleton's gone. All the guys who surrounded him are gone, and they're just fighting for mediocrity right now.
They're keeping what they got together. They re-signed Portis. They brought in Miles Turner, hoping and praying that they can get one more good year out of Giannis before he decides to say fuck you and leaves.
Which he has to do. I mean, again, and you can't get the team up to the standard of the superstar fast enough to keep the superstar. And the only thing the NBA is interested in right now is that those superstars find their way to Miami, Los Angeles, or New York. That's their biggest base of fans, and that's where the media is located. That's what they're interested in. Problem is that there are many more teams in the NBA than those few markets, and there are going to be a lot of suffering teams. There already are. I mean, look at the Washington Wizards, for God's sakes. I mean, you just shake your head and say, why do they even bother playing? What's the point?
The Charlotte Hornets and the Utah Jazz and perennial, let's pick in the butt. Let's have the worst, and the NBA is good for this. There's a reason they have a draft lottery, so they can make sure that these teams stay in fucking purgatory, Heaven forbid Cooper Flag goes to one of them. He's got to go to fucking Dallas, reward Nico Harrison for being a fucking stupid fuck. And all of a sudden Dallas is back. Now they got Kyrie and they got fucking Anthony Davis and Cooper Flagg and fucking.
They've got to make that team in the West what the Lakers couldn't be, what the Houston Rockets couldn't be in their building and growing. They have to have a ready-made kind of thing, but it's no guarantee when you're playing 82 games at a breakneck pace. Kyrie Irving, wonderful, wonderful basketball player, but he can't keep up with the pace of today's NBA. He'll just be hurt in a heartbeat. It's interesting who they were comparing Proctor to, and one name that came up was Dante Exum, who had an underwhelming NBA career, but a lot of that was injuries. But a guy who's got height, but again, doesn't have that ultimate quick step, doesn't have a trademark. He's got bench player written all over him. So the Cavaliers right now have a bunch of guys. Got Tyson, who is really neither fish nor fowl, not big enough to be the big kind of enforcer that we need, and is kind of a taller guard. And you know that Imani Bates is gone. They gave up on Imani Bates. And
2 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you couldn't see that coming, and I'll tell you, there are two types of fans that really irritate me. And the first type are just the people who are the speculative, whining, complaining fans. And the other ones are these overly optimistic that we can make trades that couldn't possibly be made.
Yeah.
If we were in New York or Los Angeles, we could pull those trades off because the league would give us the blessing. But if you're looking to steal somebody and you're in Cleveland, it's like, no, let's add Broncola. Hi, Bronk. How you doing, Moose?
I was asleep like 10 minutes ago.
Well, but the good thing is you can't tell because you always sound that way.
Yeah, he was, man.
So that for future reference, Moose, the address that you used to come into the studio is now permanent.
Oh.
So you don't have to be
click on the link.
Yeah, all you do is just, that it's gonna, you make a copy of that.
I'm doing that right now.
So that way
like progress.
Yeah. They finally gave me the option of having a permanent studio, and I think that kind of helps a little too. One less thing to have to worry about. Oh my God. Can you believe this?
Key
is back.
It's got to be about 30 years old now.
So whatever happened with Brian? Is that his name?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a good month.
I haven't talked to Brian in a while either. Brian's a good enough fella.
Neither have I.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have a feeling she's out of his life.
Last I heard from Brian, I don't think his mother was doing well health-wise.
So. Oh, really?
No one wants to hear that.
No one wants to hear that at all.
No one wants to hear
tough. Yeah. So the other types of fans are the overly optimistic fans who just think that things are gonna, manna's gonna fall from the sky, and that doesn't happen either. And the reason I brought this up with Imani Bates was because, he's going to be the next. What a steal! When he was 16, they were saying he was the next Kobe, and like 16 is not the age to be projecting anything. When Boris Becker was 16 years old, nobody even gave a shit about him. Nobody knew about him. When he was 17, he was at Wimbledon.
Yeah, 1985.
Bjorn Borg. Yeah. When he was 15 years old, nobody knew who in the fuck he was. When he was 16 years old, he was a teen throb playing at professional tournaments. And by the time he was 17, everybody knew who he was. Pete Sampras was only about 5'8", 10?
One.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, bang, when he hit 18 years of age, he shot up to 6'2", 6'3", and then he's on the map. You can't judge people when they're 16 years old. The guy who was the star, future hope of the NBA, a guy named Cook, I forget his first name, the kid from New York, and he was usurped by an unknown from Akron named LeBron James. I mean, and Cook never had a professional career. People taking these fucking snapshots, and Imani Bates was never anything more than a slow-footed, without a first step, Bigfoot kind of guy who just shot the ball whenever he got his hands on it.
Oh God! Sorry, your kick.
I know. I'm looking right at it. Yeah, you know what the beauty about it is, Softy. Softy, if you have that kind of a problem, I suggest there's medications and things you can do to firm that problem up. Okay.
Oh, here's a joke for you. Do you know why? It's an old joke too. Do you know why men prefer computers to women?
No.
Because a computer doesn't laugh at a 3.5-inch floppy.
Oh, it's such a dated joke. I mean,
it is.
That's a dad joke. It's a dad joke.
It's from like 1998. Come on.
Oh, a vintage year it was. Just not for humor. Okay.
No.
Yeah, so Key is saying, yeah, we're still friends. My boyfriends are my male characters in my book. And no, I'm not writing about the delusion that this is NBA.
Just friends, lovers no more. Great song.
No, well, if you, Brian, were lovers, I would not want to hear about that.
No, I wouldn't want to see it either. But anyway.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, how many of us would anybody pay to see us in porn movies?
No, not even Kaz Tadano.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. It sounds like it'd be a lot more entertaining than watching Guardians baseball. So
I made the mistake of watching the Freeview game Friday.
God, they're the worst fucking team. They're the only team I've ever seen that could give up one hit through 9 innings and still lose 7-2.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, and I, I'll break the order of what I was going to talk about.
I hate to interrupt
to mention the Guardians, but there's something that's not being talked about enough, and it's just like the fans who had.
Oh, let me guess.
What
is it? Stephen Vokes is just a cretin.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it? Right.
Nobody, I mean, because he had such a good year last year, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. First of all, Terry Francona never lost 10 games in a row in his tenure in Cleveland, but but he had some seasons that were less than great.
Yes,
and he had run his course. His message had been battered into the players, and I think that first year was kind of like playground time when kids got out of class and they had fun and they were emotional about things. And the Dolans sucked that out of them. They took the most emotional guy, who would have been Josh Naylor, and shipped him off. And he was one who had the nerve to be rocking the baby against
in front of the Yankees.
Yankees, emotional kind of a guy who lifted everybody up. And the team comes in this year and Bieber, dead. And he's batting practice right now.
Dead.
And you look at who are Gavin Williams has not developed properly. Logan Allen is a bust. As far as Ben Lively's injured, and now they've brought up that. Oh God, what's his name? The guy with the 77-mile-an-hour changeup, left-hander. I'm not thinking of his name because I don't care. Yeah, don't really care about them. But the thing about the game that Tony's referencing is you're up 1-0 with 2 out and a man on third base. And Clase, the way they're saying it, because again, everything is through the owner's lens, is that Clase threw a wild pitch. That was not a wild pitch.
That was just terrible catching.
I mean, plain and simple, the same lazy Bo Naylor that we've seen all year. He refuses to move his body to block balls. Fuck him. This guy doesn't give a shit about the game he's playing in. He doesn't care about his teammates. He is the antithesis of his brother, and haul his ass out of Cleveland. I mean, he's reaching for balls that are outside in the dirt instead of sliding his body. You know, just watch Salvi Perez catch. You know, watch any good catcher catch. We're going to bring David Talevsky in here. Hey, David, how are you?
I'm good, Moo.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what I've told the others. What you clicked on, that address is now a permanent address for this studio. Mm-hmm. So whenever there's a show, that address will always be the same one. So if you copy it, you'll always know where to go. Don't try to memorize it, though.
Wait, so if you click on the actual link in the video, you mean?
The StreamYard link is what you mean.
The StreamYard link is always going to be consistent, the same. And it will bring you into the studio for every program. Because
that's how I do it anyway.
Oh, that's baffling.
I really don't know how to respond to that. No, you're clicking on a different one every time, David.
You're clicking on a StreamYard link.
I don't click the link with my penis, if that's what you're thinking.
No, you couldn't reach it. No. But that isn't the point. The point, forget it. I'll explain it to you later.
Don't worry about it.
No problem. I'm here. That's all that matters.
He's on a roll.
Mushroom stamp.
But, you know, the second that Austin Hedges got a line drive single, Vogt takes him out of the game for the late innings. So because when he's panicking, we get one hit and we have a guy on first. And every time we try to steal now, because we don't have the speed, we get thrown out. We're literally
I saw that Cubs game that Jim Hammer was actually at. That was horrific. We got like 4 guys stolen at second, called out at second base. It was unbelievable.
I mean, Schneemann can't run. All these guys they're not going to steal bases. And they're getting thrown out on one-hop throws. I mean, they're just not fast. And so he yanks Austin Hedges out of the game to put him. Yep, he sure did. And sure enough, there's Bo Naylor in the late innings, and it costs us the game. There's no foresight. He's fucking Kyle Manzardo up the ass sideways. I mean, for Christ's sake, how do you screw up a young hitter? And the answer is you just don't play him regularly.
Yeah.
You just...
How are we sure that's not a front office decision?
Because Stephen Vogt, look at him. Look at him, for God's sakes. Did you think Eric Wedge was an intelligent person? This guy doesn't have a fucking clue. And he's, and while they suck, you know what the league's doing? The umpires are squeezing the Guardians. It's pathetic. I mean, it's like, let's see how many scoreless games we can keep these fuckers in. I mean, the pitchers are throwing the ball literally, like 4 inches off the plate. And every umpire, game after game after game, is calling balls strikes.
Yeah.
But the same pitches that the other pitcher throws that's further off the plate are being called strikes against us. And when we throw anything that's on the outside corner or on the high end of the strike zone, it's a ball. So we're behind to the count so much of the time. It's terrible. But the decision of doing what they're doing with Manzardo makes no sense whatsoever. Because why is he not playing against right-handed pitchers?
He can hit 150 just as much as the rest of them.
but I mean, you brought him up for a reason, I presume. He's a guy who you felt was a power hitter that you need. And this is what brings me to the main point about the Guardians.
What's your point?
You cannot succeed in Major League Baseball if you fuck up. It can't be just the people. It can't be Jhonkensy Noel and Jonathan Rodriguez and Kyle Manzardo and next Chase DeLauter and before him Nolan Jones, who we bring back for a second time, and he can't hit. He goes to Colorado in the light air, thin air, and he hits 20 home runs. He comes back with our team and our people, and we fuck hitters up. Let's be honest and open about it. There's something unhealthy and unpure about what the Guardians' approach to hitting is, because nobody succeeds. I mean, they tried to change Schneeman's swing so that he has, more of a launch angle.
Launch angle.
Schneeman. And you know what they're doing now? Now they're saying, try to steal second, Daniel. I mean, they don't know how to handle power hitters. Jhonkensy Noel, when he first came up, looked like somebody who could be somebody.
He did.
But this is what it keeps happening. And they turn out to be busts. Why? Is it that we're picking the wrong guys, or are we doing something within the organization? And what it reminded me of was the Browns and wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say we picked the wrong guys, but the receivers coach is a moron, and he keeps his job. He keeps his job no matter what.
Yeah, I think he's got Haslam porn, and they can't fire him or something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's like the same thing you can say about the Guardians hitting coaches. I mean, there is no plan. The players come up to the plate, and every one of them have the same problem. And now, I mean, Brian Rocchio is back up in the big leagues. Yeah. It's like, why is Chase DeLauter still down there? And Brian Rocchio keeps bring him back and back like a fucking yo-yo. Keeps coming back to you. Why?
Why?
But DeLauter's still down there because they're going to try to move him for prospects. If they were truly interested in bringing him up, they would have called him up.
No, I think what it is contractual. I think they have to have so much time. It's the same story with the Dolans. They run, but it's ineffective, and people just it's pathetic when a guy like Will Benson can go to the Reds, another lousy team, and every time we face them, tear our ass apart. And he couldn't even make contact with the ball in Cleveland, just like all the guys we have now. It's unbelievable. But it has to be, and the head coach is just making incredibly.
Why no one's having a pop at Stephen Vogt other than this program, I will have no idea. I mean, that Chicago game, the last game in Chicago where they got all those guys thrown out of base, I really questioned my worth of watching this at 3 a.m, and it was free on MLB.com. And I thought, what the fuck am I doing? They're going to lose this game. And sure enough, they blew it in extra innings. So.
Well, and Cade Smith, who's been a great relief pitcher, he's been injured. I don't know that I just found this out, but
right.
And they just decided they're going to keep pitching him, and it all came to fruition when he gave up the 2 dingers and 5 runs and in 1 inning. But the game was decided when he put Naylor back in the lineup behind the plate. You can't blame Class A for throwing a ball low at home plate, thinking maybe the guy will get excited and swing at it. I mean, you can't blame Class A for that. But now they're saying, well, we're going to trade Class A. Fine, but what does it matter? If you're going to use Cade Smith while he's injured, you're gonna Vinny Pestano him.
Correct.
This is a sickness in this organization. And I'll go one step further than you, Bronk. I can only sit and watch it for very short periods of time.
Oh, it's hard, man.
I tune it out. I tune it out because it's like, you've got to be kidding me. What kind of a decision is that?
And the commentary was just so like unbelievably bad. They've all three of those knuckleheads have gotten worse, and even Manning was misjudging fly balls, not just Underwood. There was that one in the late innings or the ninth inning that they thought was it's got a chance, and it was caught like 30 yards in front of the warning track.
Well, I mean, it's like, what can manager Stephen Vogt do about the Guardians' plight? Yeah, go, please. Go away.
Go. Keep going. Fly
I mean,
away.
He doesn't have the mental aptitude to be able to do anything about it. And again, it's a one-hit wonder last year. It was a wonderful feel-good story that we were in there toe-to-toe with the New York Yankees. Wonderful stuff. But you knew it wasn't sustainable because right at the end of the year, the owner said, well, we're getting rid of this guy and this guy and this guy. I mean, it's like, thanks, but see ya.
Bye.
And for whatever reason, Antonetti and Chernoff never get blamed for anything.
I just, what is it about Nolan Jones? What is it about this player that the organization, that it's like a magnet in steel? What is the story with this? That he's not a good fielder. He's botched plays in right field, and now he's coming in to play center field because the other guy, Lame Turner, is literally lame and he's hurt all the time. That was a bad acquisition. Yeah, it's a bad acquisition. And, so what kind of lineup do you have with a lousy center fielder? And if you have a guy in right field, I mean, they were putting people in right field.
With zero range.
Yeah, it was zero. Right. I mean, they're not defensive players.
You've reminded me of something else that I saw in that one game. They have this fetish of like highlighting defensive plays for commercial reasons, this broadcast, and they highlighted this play that I think it was Schneemann made when he was in center field. He goes over to his left and he runs and he catches the ball, and it sort of like looked really dramatic. But anybody who had been like watching Grady Sizemore or Kenny Lofton, anybody decent in center field, it was a routine fucking fly ball.
Exactly. I mean, we don't have any plus defenders. We did. Jimenez was
minus defenders.
Jimenez really was a plus defender, and he's hitting like one this year in Toronto. So there's that.
He's alive. He's gotten out of America.
I think that, again, you got to have more personnel, and the Guardians just don't have the personnel.
No,
and I predicted going into the season that they would be 70 and 92.
It's going to be worse.
And they got off to a better start, but now this is happening, and that's why the season's 162 games. But look at AJ Hinch compared to Stephen Vogt.
Yeah.
I mean, and I look at, and look, Skubal is a great pitcher, and whoever this guy was, 8-2, who pitched against the Guardians. I don't know the Tigers by name.
Yeah, okay.
But they're getting starting pitching. They're getting relief pitching. They're getting timely hitting. And, they were good to finish the year last year, and now they've gotten better. But Stephen Vogt hasn't proven that he can do something 2 years in a row, but AJ Hinch just outmanaged him. Plain and simple. Every guy who goes up against that dumbass outmanages him. And I've had it with him, and I can't stand his stupefied look as the umpires. He stands and watches like he's got a fuse burning while somebody is fucking his wife, but does nothing about it. Get your ass out of the goddamn dugout and tell the umpire to go suck his dick and get thrown out. Do something, for Christ's sake, to try to get your players fired up. Instead, he just sits in there and seethes and makes bad decisions.
Well, that's why we don't get good calls. We don't fucking challenge them. We don't, anyway.
And I agree with Ron Shane. No, I agree with Ron here. You know, no. Why is nobody telling Manzardo you were hitting so much better when you were going when he was going opposite field? What, letting the ball get deeper into the strike zone? Why doesn't anyone tell him? He's trying to pull everything. You take a look at these hitters, and Manzo is literally every foul ball is swinging at balls, and it goes on the wrong side, foul territory of first base. Nothing opposite field. And this guy came as, he's got Jim Thome kind of power. He can hit him out the opposite way. And I've seen him hit the ball out the opposite way. Why has he gone pull happy? The same exact thing that Jhonkensy Noel did. Why did he do that? And why isn't anybody working with these hitters to explain to them, look, you got to get on base before you score. Hitting solo home runs isn't going to get it for this pitching staff. You've got to get on base. And, nothing wrong with hitting singles and hitting some gappers and getting doubles, getting in scoring position, then handing on next down the line to your teammates. Nothing wrong with it. But they're all trying to be something they're not, and they have warning track power. That's
then when they fluke on first base, why do they fucking have to send them to steal second? Why?
The same thing's going on in Pittsburgh. Look at that Paul Skeens. He's 1 in 12 over his last 13 with a 1.72 ERA.
Yeah,
pitching insane, and the team just sucks so goddamn bad.
Yeah,
offensively.
Well, he's just waiting for the big offer to come,
Yeah.
And Ron Shane saying we should never see Will Wilson again. Again, all of these players are no-name players, and they're not good no-name players. But you don't have people who and I think Angel Martinez is better than a 235 hitter. Because I've seen him and the velocity that the ball was coming off his bat earlier in the season. But these are young guys who they need to be tutored, and there's nobody tutoring them. Do you think that Stephen Vogt knows anything about hitting? Give me a break. Stephen Vogt was Austin Hedges of his day. God. So I ain't watching that shit.
No, and I haven't been. It was only because of a combination of reasons that I saw that Chicago Cubs game the other night. So, no, make it stop.
So, and I'll finish out the program with the Cleveland Browns because, again, the fans are, this is my quarterback. It's like they're claiming properties in Monopoly. I'm going to get Boardwalk before you do. And so you've got fans on everyone's bandwagon.
Marvin Gardens.
Yeah, right.
That'd be a great basketball name. Can you imagine? 6'10" Marvin Gardens.
Marvin Gardens would be, now that what was his name? The Knicks old announcer, Albert.
Yeah, Marv Albert.
Yeah.
Marv Albert. We're here in Marvin Gardens in heaven. God almighty. I wish Spike Lee was up there with him.
Oh, God.
I know, I'm doing the wrong thing.
How's Topaz? I see Topaz is there.
Yeah, Topaz has made a recovery. It turned out that Topaz was sick for a period of time with a bacterial infection. And he's my best friend, and I'm petting him right now as we speak. Yeah, and so he was having diarrhea problems, and we were giving him metronidazole, which the first dose didn't get rid of it completely, but the second dose seems to have done the job. We've changed his diet away from wet dog food to dry food that has more fiber in it, and so he's doing a lot better. And I love this dog as much as any dog. More in some instances. He's my favorite dog. So, and he's a good boy. So the Browns, people jumping on bandwagons and doing all that foolishness. I mean, you take a look at the Cleveland Browns, and let's be honest.
Let's not.
The last good linebacker we had probably will never play another down again, and that's Koromoa. And look at our linebacker room. Jerome Baker, Devin Bush, Mahmoud Diabate, Jordan Hicks, Easton Mascarenas Arnold. Hey, Mascarenas! Hey! Learn how to tackle. Not with your hands, Mascarenas. Winston Reed, Carson Schwezinger, who he's the rookie, and does he really have the stuff to play in this league? And Nathaniel Watson. I mean, we haven't had a linebacker except for JOK. You can go back in time. Jameer Miller.
Jameer Miller is the last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like ridiculous. So, how do you want me to talk about that linebacker? I think Mahmoud Diabate is a guy who is a good fill-in guy, and he's going to be one to keep your eye on because he's shown flashes. Okay, and
it's great name. It sounds like he was drafted in the second round of the NBA. Coming out of the Sorbonne in France.
Yeah, and don't say it too loud, Rick, because if you say it too loud, you're going to get a bunch of political people because they don't believe in masking. So
no.
Woman, take me in your arms and mask your anus. Oh my!
Some of the show gets sillier and sillier. Well, the longer I'm on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's. I'm in a much better mood because I'm feeling better too. I've been
the doggy's better.
Yeah, I've been fighting all kinds of hyperthyroid thing. It's bad news. It makes you feel really agitated, and that's why I'm not watching the Guardians very much. Don't need that shit. But I can't analyze the linebacker room, and it's unfortunate. And then when asked who would wear the green dot, no, I'm serious. Do you know what the defensive coordinator of the Browns said?
Probably one of our safeties.
No, maybe it was a linebacker coach. He said, at this point, any of them could. It's like, that's not the answer we were looking for. All right. And then the offensive line.
Oh, no. They're a bunch of cripples.
Posick, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, who might as well be Wyatt Earp.
They're all dead. They're all dead.
And Jack Conklin, all right, and Juwan Jones. But look at the other names. Luke Whippler. Hey, he's from Ohio State. You got to love him. Javion Cohen. Hey, I'm a guard. I will open the hole for you.
Yeah.
Tevin Jenkins.
That's a great name.
Brady Latham. D'Artagnan Tinsley.
That's a brilliant name. Touche Tansley.
And Zach Zinter.
Yes.
Dirk Diggler. Zach Zinter's a great porn name.
That's another great name, yeah.
Yeah. And the tackles, Jackson Barton, Jason Ivey. And this is besides Jack Conklin.
Sounds like Jackson Brown's backup band now.
Cornelius Lucas.
Well, they got to be somebody's baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to Soul
Cornelius.
Train. I am Cornelius Lucas. Welcome to Soul Train. Peace, love, and soul. All right. Roy Mbetika. I don't know. Some of those African names.
Oh, what? With the 5 consonants in a row, and then
yes.
Do they have a guy named Siegfried?
No.
Siegfried.
No.
Siegfried.
Yeah,
Julian Pearl and Lorenzo Thompson. So, in other words, what it amounts to, Conklin gets hurt. and Juwan Jones gets hurt like they have. Then we have Jackson Barton, Jason Ivey, Cornelius Lucas, Roy Umbakatuka, and Julian Pearl and Lorenzo Thompson. And that's what you need to know about the offensive line. Oh, my God.
Wasn't that one guy an exchange student from Cameroon on Trading Places?
Yeah, wasn't that guy the running back for the Michigan and the Panthers? Biaka Batuka or whatever the fuck.
Tibiaka. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. And Ron said, we got to keep Joe healthy this year. Well,
instead Joe Thomas.
That's why we're gonna hand the ball off every play. Everything's gonna be short patterns. Everything's going to be quick hitters and running the football. And without an offensive line, I don't know how you're going to do that either.
I got an idea. This is like Kevin McFan writing a play down on a napkin. Everybody ready for this? Why don't we play 5 tight ends?
That was a porn movie I saw many years ago.
We could play 5 tight ends. It would work. 5 tight ends, 5 offensive line, and Joe Flacco. Let's do it.
So you're weak in the trenches, all right, because all your good players are just so prone to injury that within the first 4 weeks, 2 of them will be down. So then the wide receiver position. Why are we even? I mean, will Deontay Johnson? No. No. The fact is, he had much better opportunities in better football markets than Cleveland, and he
better quarterbacks.
He fucked them up. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like he's suddenly going to come to his senses and develop his old form in a system that's going to be throwing 6-yard passes. Stop it.
Does he do a good mean reverse, though? Does he do like the wide receiver reverse play that we do on 4th down every time?
Yeah, it's just, he played for 3 different teams last year. The Panthers, the Ravens, the Texans. Yeah, I mean, people have given up on him.
Yep.
And he's saying most recently that the lack of interest in him around the league really humbled him.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he humbled himself is what it amounts to. He's 29 years old, and what will happen is if he does have a good year or a decent year in Cleveland, he'll leave. That's right.
He'll leave. He'll go.
Yep. And badmouth the organization. All right.
So is what you do. Yeah.
So Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, and David Njoku. And you still don't have another wide receiver because Cedric Tillman, no. He's not really.
No.
Yeah. DeAndre Carter, 13 catches in his last 2 NFL seasons.
You need to read this out as like Peter Alice, Oh.
Yeah. And I haven't even gotten to Jamari Thrash. That'd be a great name for a soul punk band.
It would, yes.
Jamari
Thrash. Last name's Thrash. It would have to be thrash metal.
Ah, very good.
Yes.
David Bell or Michael Woods II.
Michael Woods II. What would Peter Alice say about him?
From watching him, I'm certainly not waiting for Michael Woods
the third. Yes.
Yeah. That's Peter Alice's way of saying, I'm not going to sit here and take 67 more of those. Yeah, so much for the wide receiver position, which we don't have. So, so you all want to talk about quarterbacks. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, and the one who deserves it is Joe Flacco, not from a getting hurt perspective, but that he's seen more stuff.
Yeah, he's a veteran.
I mean, Kenny Pickett already proved in Pittsburgh when he didn't have any running game whatsoever for during this span, which is carried on since the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career with Najee Harris and that crew of running backs.
Oh, God.
They just know
they're horrible. They're ordinary.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the quarterbacks don't have the time to throw.
No.
They're in must-throw situations more frequently, and they were. I think the reason the coaching staff kind of likes Pickett is because that's all he tried to throw were 6-yard passes before he got scrunched. And Pickett's horrible. He's horrible, and I don't want to see him. I won't cheer for the Browns. If he is the quarterback, I will not cheer for the team. I'm dead serious.
Yeah. No,
he's just lousy. It's just like if they would have put DTR on the field. If they'd have put DTR on the field, I would not cheer for that. Yeah. No. That's not even a professional football player. So, but the young guys, if you have any faith in them whatsoever, give them an opportunity to learn. Don't feed them to the lions. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Now, the other thing is stop with the, now there's a team in the Canadian Football League who has the rights to should do it. Well, of course there is. Of course there is. That's not unusual, but that's a threat to the Browns. Canadian Football League is not a threat to the NFL. Blow me.
No, it never has been.
God almighty.
Maybe back in the 70s it might have been, but
just such foolishness. Just utter foolishness. So, that's, so what can I say about the Cleveland Browns? It's going to be a long season. And the thing is, the Guardians have no second half of a season worth watching. No. I do really want to see what the two young quarterbacks look like in the preseason. And I know that doesn't prove anything, but I just want to see with my eyes the difference in these two men and how they handle the situation of being under the microscope and how they handle the moment. Because the second they see the full bore pass rush of the NFL, the guy with the cooler head is going to be the one that prevails in that battle.
And whoever is, and whatever the result, it makes the Browns draft room look ridiculous. If one's so much better than the other one, then why did they draft the bad one? And then if they're both shit, then why did they both draft shit quarterbacks? It just makes them look idiots, regardless of the outcome.
The final thing I want to say is this headline, which says it all. I end the show the way I started the show. Headline: Ryan Rollins agrees to 3-year, $12 million deal to return to the Bucs. Who in the fuck is Ryan Rollins? What is a Ryan Rollins?
Is he related to Henry Rollins?
The dude was a 2022 second-round draft pick by the Warriors. He joined the Bucs on a 2-way contract in February of 2024 and spent most of this past season on a 2-way before receiving a standard deal late in the season in March.
Wow. Tree's younger brother.
That's a headline? Yeah, Tree. I forgot about Tree. He stand and raise arm and stop you. Yeah, just I mean, when that's a headline, then Shams got nothing to talk about on ESPN. No. They got nothing to talk about. So
I mean, they could talk about the Kevin Durant trade that ended up being a bunch of it's 7 teams wide and 5 of the teams got nothing. We sent 3 second-round picks to Minnesota. They sent 4 first-round picks to.
Yeah, it's kind of
Kevin Love got moved again.
Well, yeah.
Kevin Love.
He can't move anymore.
No.
And you know what he's going to do? Whatever team he goes to, he is going to increase awareness of mental
health issues. Yes.
And no rap. I think that.
Yeah, we're not making fun of mental health issues.
No,
because
I will remember Kevin Love so fondly for 2 things, especially. and then a bunch of other things. But the
one of them is guarding Steph Curry to death.
Was the 30-plus point first quarter he had, which was where he was pouring everything in, and the other was the defense that he played with his feet against Steph Curry in the finals on an important stop. That was just something to behold. The effort of a really less athletic big guy staying and forcing Curry into taking a bad shot. That is, and then the other thing, the great outlet passes, the rebounding, the solid technique that he played with. But yeah,
he threw the ball better than any Browns quarterback.
I did see a name that I never thought I'd fucking repeat ever again. God Shamgod is a coach in the NBA.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's becoming a assistant coach on the Mets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm finished, and so just we'll be back around again on Friday. Same address, same link. Use
same
the link.
Bat time, same Bat channel.
If people are watching the archives of this, if you want to be live on the program, if you've got something to say,
why would you do it?
If you want to debate a cow, I'm more than willing to debate subjects and listen to other ways of thinking. That's how we learn. So I thank everybody for hanging with us.
Is there a way you can tell which link you click? Because normally I come in through YouTube. That's how I come in.
Oh no!
I mean, you go to YouTube. You go to YouTube, and that would be the first thing that would be listed in YouTube under Moohead Radio. You just put in Moohead Radio, and I will have created the show, and you can click on that.
I'm subscribed to you, so.
But again, that what you're going to click on there or make a link out of is going to be the same every single time. It's never going to change now.
The StreamYard link will always be WNA.
So it will be a non-changing thing. So if
do you have to pay extra for that?
No.
No, it's a feature.
It's a feature. God. It's a feature, and it's called Permanent Studio.
Studio.
Yep.
Wow.
So, thanks everybody for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Back again at the end of the week, and I hope you have a pleasant week and enjoy this warm weather that we're enjoying. Thank you to Bronx.
What, you mean when it's raining right now?
Oh, well, I mean, look, the weather has been, if you like warm, hot, go swimming kind of weather, this is the best you're ever going to see. This last week was the best you'll ever see.
It's great if you have a swimming pool or a pond.
Yep, a pool or a pond. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Moose. Thanks, David. I'm out of here.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Hasta la vista, Pastor Hicks.
Right there. Good night.